So Coach did this one, but he decided to pull it before anybody saw it because I wanted to make it shorter, a little bit tighter. Now, Joe Biden, when his son Beau had cancer, they said they listened to the New Radicals. You Get What You Give, that god awful one hit wonder from a billion years ago. They said that was like their rallying song. So Biden gets them to do the official theme song of his like inauguration or some crap, right, when he was running for president, right? So they do his campaign song or whatever, and in the song, their only hit, which is terrible, they say, Marilyn Manson, I'll kick your ass in, right? Like it doesn't work. It's horrible writing. It's the worst part of the whole song, and most of the stuff is in the song is very interesting, right? It's faux anti-establishment, right? It's just the cookie cutter BS type stuff, but it's at least talking about like interesting concepts, right? So then to just to try to cap it off with Marilyn Manson, kick your ass, and like that's the part of the song they should have absolutely nailed, and instead it's by far the weakest part. Doesn't feel good at all, right? And then so what do you know? Joe Biden, known for sniffing children, Marilyn Manson, his album Smells Like Children. And of course, they show you child smelling like a lot like Hocus Pocus. They can smell the children. I'm pretty sure in Toil and Trouble with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, that's how they get caught. And definitely, possibly witches, but definitely in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, they have the child catcher. He catches the children and brings them to Your Highness in a cage and says they're foreign children, right? And like she acts like all like terrified of them and apprehensive, right? And I guess the brainwashing that took root is that you think she's so bewildered by them because they're foreign, but it's because they're a different species, right? Like she's probably some sort of reptilian or some sort of rodent or something ridiculous, right? So Coach says that they're definitely predators. They definitely smell children, blah, 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 right? So that's truth in plain sight. We had Drewski as Erica Kirk. Now, Coach has the best take ever. You'll need to listen to nobody but Coach about what was going on here. It's easy. This is stupid. Okay? So they've put up a wall of tears so you can't criticize it because Drewski, right, he pretends if you don't know, he's basically a overweight black male, right, who's very soft, very effeminate, like shockingly soft. Like, I promise you, if I was near this guy, I would not be telling you this is a male, right? I'd be like, there's something going on here. I promise you, that's a woman, right? But in clown world, they act like they can't tell. They put it in the NBA All-Star game, and it threw a pass into like the 10th row. It like wasn't even convincing at all that it was that bad. Like horribly sold the reaction. He's just a cornball. He's not funny, right? So he's just super cringe character. Well, they had it dress up as Erica Kirk, and of course she acts all offended, and people with the correct take say, imagine if she dressed up as a black male, right, essentially, right? And then, of course, but there's historical reason, right? They've been oppressed, blah, 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 was used to mock them, right, and deny them rights, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, women have always been lower in the pecking order than minorities. That's why you've had minority males be able to be champion of the world, etc. But women can only be champions of themselves, right? They can never win over a man. They can't be a president, blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? You got a black president before you got one with a vagina, right? And but of course, Coach says the trick is they all had vaginas, right? Like it's a big sham, right? It's inverted. So they have Drewski dressed as Erica Kirk, and what does everybody say is spot on? Not the face, not the hair. Everybody's obsessed with the eyes. The thing that's the hardest to hide, what the window to the soul, somehow the eyes is what's selling everybody, right? And So basically, what's going on here, right? I understand the average person watching this, they're going to say, Coach, I don't care what you're about to say. There's no way a fat black man can shift into a petite white woman, right? Now, first, I want to point out Erica Kirk. Does that look like a face to you? Or does it look like a mask? You really can't see a mask, right? There's no real features there. That's a very bad mask. But they sell you weird plastic surgery and Botox. You're brainwashed into not believing your lying eyes, right? So that's just silicone, right? So Coach is telling you, yes, 100%. Drewski and Erica Kirk are the same person. And how they accomplish it is it's a small entity, Erica Kirk size or smaller. They put the Erica Kirk mask on it and the blonde wig, right? So Erica Kirk is not Erica Kirk. There is no Erica Kirk. It's a character, right? Like, do you think, like it's just like any actor any character in a movie, right? Like, there's an actor playing the character, but think like Sling Blade, like, whoa, Billy Bob looks so different. You'd never know it was him, right? So they just throw a mask on to make it Erica Kirk. There's nothing special. And specifically for this stunt, because this actor also plays Drewski. So when it does Drewski, it just puts on a fat suit and blackface. Okay? It's probably a robot or a demon. Okay? It just puts on a fat suit and blackface. And for this particular stunt, they put it in the fat suit, they put the blackface on, then they put the Erica Kirk mask on. Not a good one, a distorted version of it, right? So you're not like, whoa, it's like creepily like her. They got to make, you really think they couldn't have done the lips any better than that? Like, what the hell is that? Right? They make it bad intentionally in certain ways. So you don't think they could actually have these two characters played by the same actor. Right? So Coach is telling you 100% Erica Kirk is Drewski and vice versa. And it's perfect. It's the oldest trick in the book that they use to have them beef with each other, because then you have an excuse for them to be nowhere near each other. Why would Drewski and Erica Kirk be near each other? And then you're gonna be fooled at some point, because they will put them together. Coach, how are they going to pull that off? Well, you're going to have the actual actor who plays the Erica Kirk character in the Erica Kirk suit, or with the Erica Kirk mask, right? And then just one of their buddies is going to be in the fat suit and the black suit with the mask, because what's the difference? The only thing that will give it away is the eyes. Right? And what do you know? It's not going to have the Erica Kirk. Right? It's perfect. Right? That's something that they I'm sure they have to alter, right? With either the Drewski or the Erica Kirk. Either they put completely fake eyes, or Drewski's got the more natural version of their eyes, and they go way crazy when they do the Erica Kirk character. Right? So you just have someone with brown eyes. Nothing really stands out about Drewski's eyes. Right, so you just get some random, put the mask and the fat suit on. Right, so Coach says that's the stunt there. Let's see. Now, let's see. Oh, yeah, and Coach wants to say, so they sell this to you as this is empowering for the black man. Way to stick it to a privileged white woman. Right? Yeah, way to stick it to her by dressing up as a fucking woman. You absolute clown. How many times have they pulled this trope? Eddie Murphy, Flip Wilson's Geraldine. Coach had never heard of that, but he saw it. It's horrible. It's not funny at all. It's so forced. It's so corny. It's so hacky. They've been doing this shit since Shakespeare, this Medea garbage, and we're still supposed to act like it's still a fucking riot. You know damn well Tyler Perry's Medea isn't funny. Coach has never ever cared to watch it, right? So why does it exist, right? It's because the Baffos gobble it up, right? And then Jamie Foxx, Wanda, Shanae, right? Of course, they're forgetting, or Shanae. Maybe that is Martin's character. I actually can't remember. But like, yeah, this one was awful, so terribly unfunny. Cat Williams, and then Coach caught Dave Chappelle uncredited, pretending to be Robin on the Howard Stern show, and Coach thinks that probably actually is who is Chappelle. It's probably Robin. Right, and then this Big Mama's House, right, there's the Martin Lawrence one, too. So Martin Lawrence couldn't help him. He had to do it twice on the show. He's just got to always be a woman, right? Terry Crews said they tried to get him to do it, right? So everybody knows what the white chicks, right? Kevin Hart, bad one. Coach almost puked when he saw that one the first time. Right, they say maybe. Chappelle. Coach says definitely. I didn't think so on the screenshots, and I didn't think so for like the first 15 to 20 seconds of the video. But there's certain things that only Chappelle could do. It's like, oh, that's definitely him, right? So, good catch, whoever, got that one originally, or it's probably just one that they discreetly disclosed, because they're not telling you this is bad, right? So, I mean, they probably are actually. I don't know. Ricky Smiley is Bernice Jenkins, right? Joanna Mann, Chris Tucker, like Wesley Snipes in 2-on-4. That one's awful. Right? I'm not saying the movie's awful. I've never seen it, but it's just bad look. Arsenio Hall with a bad look in Coming to America. Right, there's the Flip Wilson. I'm not even going to make you watch it. It's just bad, unfunny. So cover of MLB The Show 26, you got a 62 right there. Isn't that nice? Right, so you flip the 6 upside down, you flip the 2 and the 6. There you go. MLB The Show. Hey, so now they're saying Dayton Weber. Basically his girl was cheating on him with the dude that he capped. Now, Coach had slides, and I'm gonna kind of just have to riff. Right, because I want to dump this on you. I don't want to hold it any longer because it's really getting to crunch time. But Coach has been suspicious of Illinois for a while because they have Colangelo connections, okay? They are basically the reason Charles Barkley got traded to the Suns, and they're the reason the Sixers process took such a bad turn. Right, just absolute heels, and a really compelling argument for the Fighting Illini. They've never won one, but they're like top 10 all time in wins, top 15 in win percentage, right? Top 10 in like AP poll appearances, right? Like they're pretty much always in the top 25 or top 10, right? They're almost always in the top. No, they're pretty much always in the top 25. Is what I'm going to say. Right, so they're pretty much always in the top 25 and often in the top 10. And they have a coach named Weber, right? And of course you got Chris Webber. So I think everybody's going to be thinking Chris Webber, and they're going to go Michigan. But Coach says Michigan jumping up and down, stomping on the gas, even though they were up 30 points on Tennessee, was a tell that was their big show, right? And they're done, and they're about to drop it to Arizona right here. And Arizona beating Michigan is in the Final Four is definitely a solid season by anybody's standards. So at that point, you would only have Illinois, who beats UConn. UConn obviously just hit their buzzer beater. They don't need shit else. Coach told you Duke didn't need shit else because dude was speechless and all emotional after Duke won the game before, right? And of course, Coach had the Dan Hurley and Bobby Hurley thing is why we said UConn was going down and UConn was going to win. So UConn definitely doesn't need it, but Illinois beating UConn, that doesn't do shit for them. Illinois came in second before. They want the whole thing, right, for the first time ever. They've had a couple posthumous, go back in the past, retroactively, right, awarded to them, like, oh, they should have won this year and this year, but they've never won one in real time. It's time for them to actually get their shine. And I was going to say, beating UConn, they're just going to be like, oh, they avoided the better team. Everybody knows Duke is the more talented team. They had to completely choke, and dude hit a fucking logo 3 at the buzzer off a steal. Dude could have just thrown the ball up in the air and not let it come down. in play in time or make you have a full quarter at least, right? He did the absolute worst thing he could have done, right? And, of course, guy that missed like 4 threes during the game is going to be the one that hits it. And, they make 4 out of their last 5, even though they shot dreadfully the whole way. Like, they got to make it as dramatic as possible. Coach knew they were coming back because, like, why would they have flashed up the last 135 times? Like, I'll bet they don't show that every single time a freaking whatever seed is up, right? It was like, okay, now they want us to, they want us scared of this stat, right? So coach was like, okay, you want to try to scare me with that, right? And it's like, they're not, like, it's just 15 points. Like, teams come back from 15 points. It's just because, against the very best teams, good luck. Well, it's a young Duke team, right? It's not Coach K. They're the exact type of team that is basically here on reputation when you really think about it. You know what I mean? Is anybody really that surprised they lost to the team that not only won 3 of the last 4 national championships, but this is the same Duke team that needed a miracle comeback against Siena in the first round? Come on. I knew Duke was going to go out sad. I just didn't know exactly how it was going to be. Right, but I did tell you they were going to go down to UConn. Right, but I didn't know it was going to be some epic comeback is what I mean. Right, so, but I wasn't surprised either. Like, I knew when they were down, like, okay, yep, this is where it's at. Feeling good, watching the whole game. Never was in doubt, in my opinion. Right, I wasn't panicking. I didn't make any videos like, oh, better put some Duke slips, you know what I mean? So, coach felt good about that. But I think since they have the Coach Weber, and here's the kicker, their very first NBA player ever out of Illinois, the school, Urbana-Champaign, named Donald way back in the 50s, right? Here's someone telling you Chelsea Clinton and Natalie Holloway are the same coach, says that's an easy one. Dude, how good does our Portugal pick look? Why is dude doing the Ronaldo? Is Shire Ronaldo? Oh my God, I think it is. Right? The only thing that's not off is like he's not doing the teeth thing, but the eyes, definitely all jacked. So, Jim Rome showing you the Ronaldo thing. We got Portugal winning their first World Cup ever this year. Like, why would that pop up during the Final Four? Isn't that weird? So, coach was talking about the new radicals. Also, remember, they're called the radical left, right? So, there's another little pump. Remember, dude talking shit that we didn't have 500,000 views just like a freaking week ago. Boy, that aged poorly, so we're already over 500,000. Let's see. Coach felt the need to inform you that black people did not invent barbershops, nor do they even own the majority of barbershops in the United States. So by no means, when coach says you can buy drugs at the barbershop, do I mean you have to interact with a black. You can go to, if you go to a barbershop, the odds are there won't be a black, and you can get drugs from a criminal white, right? So that's what coach does. He goes to the white guy who's on probation and buys drugs at the white barbershop because nowhere else is going to hire him. Okay, so there's that. Now, so I don't know what their weird obsession with acting like they fucking, they have the monopoly on barbershops, but, sorry. And not even a 50-50 share. So Bulls waive Jaden Ivey after anti-LGBTQ comments, Pride Month rant. So, they had to do some stupid shit there. Catholic priest says demons manifest as gray aliens during exorcism, made coach think of gray matter and how they act like they operate in the gray zone. So coach really likes this bet here. Sixers finals winner, Mayweather-Pacquiao tie, Steelers winning the Super Bowl, and Portugal winning the World Cup. $150 for $1.5 million. Coach will give you the reasoning behind the Steelers here soon. So coach also put the Angels on it, wants 50 cents for 1.4. This cat here, Texas Trevino. Now, first of all, remember Schaub acts like he's so unhappy that he had to chase Joe Rogan to Texas. Coach is just going to drop it. This is Brendan Schaub. They're barely hiding it. If you watch this dude perform, you can pick it up in 15 seconds. I'm not saying on site, right, with no movement, and a still frame coach would have picked him out. But the second he starts moving around, he gives himself away like crazy. So coach was talking about the Niners before, of course, formed in 1946. So coach, like, what happens if you push it forward 94 years, right? 2040. Why would that be interesting? 49 years, from their last Super Bowl? Nope, but coach knew exactly what it was going to be based off that. Okay, 46 years from their last Super Bowl. So book the Niners for a Super Bowl win in 2040. That's a no-doubter. As far as 2039 to 2040 or 2040 to 2041, honestly not positive. Okay, so 2-year window. What are you going to do? Now, coach also forgot some. So, like, you got the Key and Peele. They're always dressing up as women. You got Dana Carvey as the church lady. Of course, his name's Dana. Her name's Dana, right? So you should have known that obviously it's just a woman anyway. So we had Macy Barber get knocked out. Coach had a lot to say because this actually made Coach really mad because Coach hates Macy Barber. Absolutely cannot stand her. It's his most hated female fighter. Okay, she's way up on the shit list. But she didn't deserve to even be in this fucking fight. This should have been Miranda Maverick's fight. They hosed her. You can go anywhere on the internet to find people all in unison telling you exactly why it was highway robbery that Macy Barber got her hand raised. She had the gall to say that she won, blah, blah, blah. Right, so Miranda Maverick, Coach's hometown female UFC star, got her career put on a shittier trajectory than it deserved because of this stupid hoe. Right, so Coach was very glad to see her banished to the Shadow Realm, but it should have been from Miranda. So we're still waiting for that rematch. Not taking anything away from Alex Grasso, good on her. Right, she was a big dog in the fight, but Coach the coach says that was an artificial dog. Macy ain't no favorite. They're gonna look at the credentials, right, and they're gonna say, based off everything, right, Miranda's worse than both of these fighters. Which maybe Miranda would take the first loss to Grasso. That's possible. I wouldn't deny that, but I promise you in a rematch, there's no way Barber stands a chance. She's a complete fraud. She's a joke. That's why she got exposed. As far as, like, the brutality of the KO, it was a brutal KO, but nothing exceptionally special. Like, if it was a dude, yeah, we'd still be hyped about it. But, like, as far as, like, playing it up like, oh, how concerned we were for their health. Like, basically, Coach compares it to, like, if he was a doctor at the hospital, right? And you come in and someone's like, oh, he definitely broke his arm. I'm like, all right, well, let's see how bad it is, right? As far as, like, getting knocked out, Coach says this was clean, sweet, and easy and not even, like, a full break. Like, it kind of just bent. It was like a young bone. It just bent and went back. Like, there's a little bit of crack there, right? But just lay off it a few weeks, kid. You'll be fine. She didn't get knocked out cold. They're acting like she was out cold because of this shot here, but she was fighting the ref. Her arms never went limp, right? Like, she only goes limp here at the very end, and it's to show you the eyes aren't a human. It's like some sort of robot. So to people in the club, they know not to be worried, right, in my opinion. But to us, we're like, oh, that looks so unnatural. What the hell's wrong with her? It's like, it's not a human, stupid. It's a fucking robot. That's why it looks so weird, right? But it wasn't knocked out cold. The fight definitely was great stoppage. She was definitely going to get choked out. But she was always at least, like, moving around in some way until, like, right at the very end, right? But, like, that's how Coach says, like, it's bullshit, too. Like, you don't just randomly pass out after you got saved. But just 5 months ago, we had another very hated Macy who fraudulently, undeservedly was awarded a win, acted like they won this fight, get crushed in the face. So Coach was like, 2 Macys in the UFC knocked out within 5 months of each other. What are the odds, right? So Coach floated it to his buddy. Like, what does this mean? Are we going? And keep in mind, this guy's not really all that conspiracy-minded, right? But I was hoping to get something out of him for this, right? Just pick his brain. I was like, is Macy's going under? And, dude, this cat floored Coach. He went right to where Coach should have gone right away. But, like, I probably would have missed the whole thing somehow, right? So I'm like, is Macy's going under? And he's like, well, you got the Macy's Day Parade. And then I smartly was like, oh, well, you got Green Day. Right, there's the Green Day song about the Macy's Day Parade. I didn't think of the lyrics at the time. We'll circle back there, right? But I'm like, oh, so are they going to do a Smash Nation? Are they going to pull a Charlie Kirk? Are they going to have some sort of schmomming, right? And my buddy was like, oh, well, they got the Trump Tower in New York. And I'm like, well, is it like en route to the parade? Like, do they got to go down that street? And he's like, I got no idea. We got to look it up. So I type it in, and it's like, boom, premiere view of the Thanksgiving Day parade. So I'm like, are they going to schmom this thing? And I'm thinking, like, so if they're going to do a schmomming, right? And I'm like, well, Tower, New York, well, we already know how they're going to do it. They're going to hijack and fly into it, right? So we're going to see another plane fly into a building in New York. Think about it. Didn't Trump just do some shit to Iran, if I'm not mistaken? Right? I don't watch the news very often, right? But that would tie in there, right? And Coach says, like, how would they pull it off, right? So, if it's a Trump building, it's probably just some dump, right? It's probably asbestos ridden and all shitty or whatever. But, like, I'll bet it's a real place you can stay. So people will have there will be people who have memories of the Trump Tower, and there's probably people who go there every year for the parade, like at least a couple, right? People obsessed with the parade. Why not stay at Trump Tower? It's right there. You got a premier view, right? There's got to be at least a few. So Coach is thinking this year those people go to book. But like, oh man, there was just, the demand was crazy this year. We booked up immediately after the parade last year. Like the day, even before the parade was sold up last year, people had already reserved for this one, right? So like, you got to go on a waiting list. We could absolutely get you a suite next year. Like, we're so sorry, but there's just no rooms. And what are you going to say? There's no rooms. Oh, well. Guess we got to go somewhere else this year, right? So there they make sure nobody's in the building, okay? And then do the plane deal, right? And then what do you think? Oh, thank God, act of God saved my life. If every other year I was able to go, somehow this, you tell me that's not God. Now, Coach doesn't say maybe God doesn't work in weird ways like that. I think he does, or it does. Coach thinks of it like a force, like Star Wars. Right, Coach thinks it does work like that, but in this particular instance, it's the demiurge. This is the trick they always teach you. They always ask you, but you don't get the riddle, right? They're telling you the truth, but you think of it as a shutdown. They say, oh, well, why didn't God save all those people? Because nobody died. Because God's not going around blowing up buildings. He made a nice place for you. It's these fallen weirdos, right? And the demiurge or whatever, that's causing the chaos, right? And it wants to get credit, right? So it blows up a building, scares you, and you pray to it and you think it and blah, blah. Oh, let's pray for those victims every single night, wasting your prayers, wasting your magic, just reinforcing their shit with, your energy. They're just harvesting you, probably in a machine. It's probably all fake anyway, who knows, right? But Coach says, even if it is a simulation, even if it is all fake, what you do matters. Michael J. Fox's Vietnam movie taught you that. Like, there's still some sort of karmic debt or something. Like, it matters more. Whatever we are, it matters more, not less. That's the trick. They want you to act like you're meaningless. You're somewhere nobody wants to be. That's not the truth, right? You might be somewhere you don't want to be, but it's a very desirable place for somebody, and that's why they're making your life hell. They want all your shit, right? So Coach knows that was a pretty big stretch just from two fighters named Macy getting knocked out, but there were two towers, right? And like I said, Coach didn't come up with it all on his own. It was kind of just a couple people's instincts trying to tap into the collective consciousness. We're not saying 100% it's going to happen, but that's what we expect to happen. We are looking for a plane to hit a tower, Trump Tower specifically, during the Macy's Day Parade. Okay? Now, Coach made a really epic video, and I'm not going to short you on. I'm going to do it here by myself. Okay, here's what happened. So remember I told you my buddy called and his AirPods died? Well, he was nice enough to call back again, and we made a 25-minute video, but Coach completely choked and forgot for that type of video I have to use 2 phones, so we only got the video, not the audio. So big fail on Coach, but I took notes. I remember most of what we talked about, and Coach's going to dump all the awesome stuff on you right here. Okay, so for starters, Coach is going to be live at the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. They're hosting in Pittsburgh. Coach is from Pittsburgh originally. I do have to travel a decent ways to get back home, but I'm staying with my buddy who lives there. We've been friends for like 20 years. We're going to have an awesome time. We're going to play Madden 11. We're going to Steve Aoki. We're going to see 2 Chainz, and we're attending the first round of the NFL draft. I'm not too curious about the rest of it, to be honest with you. I feel like one day it'll give me a good idea of what's going on there, but I certainly don't want to miss it. I certainly think putting in the extra effort like this should help distinguish Coach from the posers, right? The Gematria Effect Sports, John over at whatever the fuck his boring channel is called. I can't remember, right? So, Coach is putting in the extra effort, right? I already put in the time off, right? Even though I just started my new job, I'm already burning the vacation so I can get to the draft, because what bigger is going to happen this year that we could go and attend? So Coach is going to be able to show you how it all unfolds. We're going to go extra hard on our draft predictions. We've always been really, really good. This is my buddy's bread and butter, is predicting the draft. And this is before we knew all the name tricks and to check all the players' backstories and stuff. We were always just going off X's and O's, who's going to help who, right? And had great success. So now that we know that we got even more tools in the wheelhouse, we're trying to nail the entire first round and second round, right? Probably third round too, right? We just want to go crazy. We're like, now, as far as like the big reason I had my buddy on here is we cooked up something together over the course of 3 years, and I absolutely wanted to make sure he got as much credit as he deserved, but I think I can do a good job of that on my own, okay? And I know what he had to say. I was there, right? So I can kind of repeat a lot of it. So we have been picking the 2026 Super Bowl winner since right after the Chiefs beat the Niners for their second in a row. Not when they lost the Eagles, right? The year before that. When they beat the Dolphins, you had the Patrick Mahomes helmet crack. They go and lose to the Chiefs, or lose to the Niners, right? Coach said the whole way, they were even like way before the playoffs arrived, that the Niners were going to pop up and lose that Super Bowl. And I had it between the Chiefs and the Dolphins, right? And they matched up in the wild card. Chiefs blew out the Dolphins, right? So we got the boring result, and this was really demoralizing for me and my buddy. Even though it's not like we didn't see it coming, we just really didn't want to see another Chiefs Super Bowl, and like the Niners weren't even an interesting team to lose. Like, it just felt so lame. Like, why would they do this? Like, we spend all this time thinking it's, we've had so many awesome Super Bowls, right? It was like exactly what we wanted, and like somehow, like, we saw this coming, but it's just like, why? Right? And then you fast forward, and of course, like, oh yeah, so the Eagles can get their revenge on the three-peat, just like the Patriots three-peat. Reed fired Sirianni. He already got to win the Super Bowl over his former team, blah, 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 right? It was like, okay. When you look at it in the macro, it was awesome. But in the moment, Chiefs beating Niners was whack as hell, right? So I immediately said, like, buddy, they can't all be shitters, basically, right? Let's get straight to work on finding another one. And you know what my pick was last year, because, and I'd already had it cooked up for a while. It's not like I didn't think the league was going to eventually run Lions-Browns. It was just a matter of when. And it's like, okay, I'm seeing some numbers coming up. We're seeing the right types of bodies falling, right? We're getting close to Browns-Lions, but I hadn't quite thought it through that 50-year-old Brady on the Lions is the money, right? So now we know the 2026 pick is not going to be Lions-Browns, because that's next year, right? And there's no way they could sneak it in early on us. We know if Brady shows up. We know if Belichick shows up, if Josh Gordon shows up, Travis Kelce comes to town. Like, none of those are there, right? Gronkowski, not bad, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's not even a little bit of it. So, like, there's no way they can just sneak it. It's almost certainly going to be, they're going to have to make some steps in that direction during the offseason. So coach thinks it's going to be very obvious in the offseason next year. Belichick's going to be there or something like that. Todd Monken probably gets run out right away, right? He probably has a really, really bad season. Why not criticize the Browns some more, right? TJ Watt has a better season than Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett just had one of the best seasons anybody's ever had. He can have a down year and be fine, right? So coach was what it ended up happening. So coach was looking at the Packers numbers because, of course, we had Lions, Browns. And, coach's only fear with Lions, Browns, even though it wasn't a real fear, because it's like it would just be such a stupid bad twist. Like, this is just bad writing if they decide to do it this way. Is like, do they have to beat the Steelers, the Lions? Do the Lions have to beat the Steelers because that's the team that started the curse with the Bobby Lane trade? I'm like, that doesn't sound right at all. That seems like way stupid. So, but it was always a little bit of a fear. And plus, to back that up, it was like, well, the Steelers won one for the thumb, riding the bus to Detroit because Jerome Bettis was from Detroit. Like, so that's kind of weird, right? So, I was never, completely able to sleep easy on it, but now I'm not worried about it at all, right? The more I thought it through, everything, fits in fine. So, coach noticed a pattern with the Packers. I was like, wow, they win every 30 years right on the nose. 36, 66, 96. If you push it another 30, that's going to be 2026. And if you flip, it looks like they've won in 62, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, they had a lot of numbers going for them. So, I was pretty sold we were looking at the Packers. And so, I hit my buddy up in Pittsburgh, right? And he's like, oh, Packers-Steelers rematch. And coach basically immediately hangs up the phone okay, Homer, right? That's really what you're going to give me, you fucking snoozer, right? And, coach wasn't familiar with the Packers-Steelers first matchup. If it's a Super Bowl coach won't watch it. I go back after the fact now that I know it's all rigged and study it. I've watched the Super Bowl now, right? But at the time, I had no idea what the hell he was talking about, basically. I'm like, that sounds horrible. Why the hell would they do that? And to make it even worse, he's convinced the Steelers are going to win. I'm like, yeah, right, dude. Come on. You're so corny, right? So I wouldn't even entertain it. I just let it die. I knew it wasn't popping up last year anyways. Maybe we were going to get my Lions, Browns win and go, ah, right? But that didn't happen at all, right? So we had to switch gears. We ended up putting Patriots versus Rams and getting pretty damn close, right? Another NFC championship loss, derailing the whole thing. It's like, okay, it was the other NFC team. When at least coach told you the NFC was a stronger conference the whole way. I got a little bit weirded out and took the Patriots at the end, but even Ricky Bird, coach's buddy, gives coach a complete pass. He was like, man, I know you had the Seahawks. We got to stop overthinking, basically, right? We know when we get the right answer, and sometimes, I don't know, you can't explain, you're not always yourself, right? So, we get to feeling a little bit off and we think it's something wrong with the pick, but really it's just some shit with us, right? So we got to be able to separate personal, emotional, weird feelings from, intuition, right? So that's what we've been working on. And it's the same thing at a poker table. That's why they say you can't get tilted. If you're emotional, your reads are off. Right, so coach just has to do a better job of blocking out the noise. When the big games come around, it's the same that they tell you the players got to do, except they don't have to worry about nothing. It's all fake. Coach is actually getting stressed out. Right, so coach just has to be more clutch, which was what he was always good at in real sports. So I'm pretty positive I can learn to take that extra breath, especially now that I know I'm almost always right on the money. Coach knew that Boozer kid on Duke, both of them, huge heels. Look at their stupid, annoying faces. Oh, I knew they were going to, not only they lose, but of course that's the kid that fucks up, right? Not the better one of them, right? But just why they need a second Boozer, right? Just, God, I hate their face. I knew it was a heel. Halliburton face is what I call it, right? So fast forward a little bit after coach had shut down the Packers-Steelers thing. And who shows up at Aaron freaking Rodgers, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, Fred Rogers, right? And look, died February 27. That could be a 2-7 for the 26-27 season. Okay? The original matchup, Packers-Steelers, February 6th. There's your 26. Okay? So I'm like, okay, maybe he's onto something, but Rodgers has turned heel. Nobody really likes this guy anymore, and he's trying to tell me, don't worry about what everybody else says. In Pittsburgh, he's a smash. Like, we love him. You got to understand, bro. We've been watching Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. Right? But, like, it still wasn't penetrating. I'm just like, nope, Rodgers fucking dork. Right? And, like I said, I came around a little bit last year, and I let my buddy get a little bit gassed up on the Steelers. But I know if I would have taken his, like, Packers rematch seriously and had it in 26 the whole time and just gave him, like, oh, we're good for it next year, he would have been able to figure out Tomlin was getting fired and stuff. You have to remember, the only reason he didn't have Tomlin getting fired was because he thought it was too good to be true. He hated Tomlin. And on coach's end, I thought it was impossible because of the Rooney Rule. I didn't see the Rooney Rule going away. That was a big bad on coach. Now we learn from stuff like that. Realize, laws are made to be broken and removed, right? So the Rooney Rule's not permanent, right? So you had Mike Tomlin versus Mike McCarthy in the Super Bowl with Mike Wallace starting, and then Mike McCarthy replaces Mike Tomlin, of course, right? You had Hines Ward in the Super Bowl, of course. Steelers play at Heinz Field, ha-ha, right? If you couldn't have figured out where he was going to play ball, you're an idiot. You had Deion Sanders toss the coin toss. The game was at Cowboy Stadium, and Emmanuel Sanders played in the game. Of course, they win, and then you get Lions-Browns next year. That's your Barry Sanders connection, right? And then, as far as, like, the Green Day lyrics for Macy's Day Parade, it's all about death. Like, it's right away. There's, like, the night of the living dead is coming soon, and get your coffins and mortuary, mausoleum, right? So I thought that was very dark and odd. Definitely a very unique Green Day song, right? Like, no other songs really sound like that, so... let's see. Of course, Mike McCarthy, not just some whatever coach. He knows how to coach Aaron Rodgers, get the most out of him for his last run. Rodgers with the Jets, so of course that's why he was cursed. McCarthy was with the Cowboys, who have a weird curse, right? Of course, the Steelers, right? Steel curtain, and then with the Browns popping up in the Super Bowl, you get the Man of Steel. Right, so that's back-to-back AFC champs, even though the Browns are going to lose. They had Charles Woodson, of course. That's funny. He beat the Steelers because they got Rod Woodson. He's going to be 49 years old. I'm wondering if he's coming back. That'd be crazy. He definitely played old as hell. So he seems like the Jerry Rice of defensive back. So I'm not putting it as a 0% chance, but I'm not exactly holding my breath for it either. Unlike with Iverson, I'd really, really, really like to see that. Of course, Rodgers, a flaming liberal. He can go annoy Trump. Why is Mike McCarthy the guy they hired, right? Like, he actually happens to be from Pittsburgh. They love him there. I definitely can't leave this one out. So the Packers, when they won that Super Bowl over the Steelers, they were the first team of the Super Bowl era to make it all the way through the playoffs without trailing by 7 points. Or more than 7 points, and the only team to have done that, and it was outside the Super Bowl era, of course, was the 1962 Detroit Lions, right? So that connects both ways, right? So 62 flipped for the 26.